Hey guys, it's North Star Bar here. Specifically, it's Dane. I'm coming at you guys one more time with another weekly winning deck profile. This has actually been our biggest tournament since COVID kind of took off. We had a 17-man weekly. Social distance and mask. Make sure to wash your hands. Do everything that you got to do.
We are the last ones in the store, so that's why Dane does not have a mask.
So you can see my ugly beard.
Yeah, but you can hear him better.
That way you can hear me better. You can hopefully get the inflection of my voice a little bit cleaner. So we're just here to talk about the deck that I used to win today. I went 4-0 using Super Saiyan 3 Reboot. I really thought this leader wasn't ever very good, but there are specific cards that got printed in set 10 that actually make this leader worth playing.
10 or 11.
Or set 11, sorry. There are a couple in set 10 too that helped, but mostly going to be set 11. Much like other blue dot decks, you can actually see right here from our last video with Soul Striker, this is the rest of Soul Striker. And then I just put in like 20 cards and floated the other 20. So it's a really powerful leader. It's pretty simple. It's basically the fastest ramp in the game, at least guaranteed, besides maybe Vegeta, but that's optional. So this is when you swing, you can bottom deck one card in your hand and then place an energy from a card in your life to your energy and rest mode. Basically, this is going to allow you to always have, if you're going second, you'll have a turn 3 baby unison going right away on turn 2. As well as you can usually get to 6 energy on turn 4, sometimes turn 5, depending on the thing. It just kind of depends on how aggro the other opponent is. Draw 1 at 4 life to flip over. When you swing, you draw 1 +5. The +5 is super relevant. People always think that it isn't, but it lets you hit 20k unisons, it lets you apply just a little more pressure when you swing, and then the real reason to play this leader, at the end of your turn, you restand 3 mono blue energy to active mode. Really just lets you pump up defense, and blue kind of really gets to use that. So we'll just kind of go right into it. Leader's super sick, great art. I hope they keep doing reboot leaders. Let's get more.
I mean, they are confirmed in Evolution Boosters.
Evolution Booster 1.
Probably going to be, for sure we know there's the Android Diabolic Duo, but
yep.
That...
Ooh, beautiful. Baby Hatch is the secret
games.
rare. Yeah, this card like wins games. Much like all the other blue decks, sometimes you just want to tap out and do something, and you get to do that with this deck and then just play Baby Hatch. A lot of times you're pretty low on hand size on turns 2 through 4 before you get awakened and start playing your dumb stuff. And this card basically says, if you have seen this card, you're going to make it to a turn where you can draw. And that's when you get to start snowballing out of control. 40k beat stick after it's on board. I had multiple people try to remove it. Please remember that if you remove it, it is gone. It's not just elsewhere. There's really no reason to deal with it. It's just going to be there. The card that honestly makes the deck go round, SS3 Vegeta, Rise of the Super Warrior. Basically, if your leader's blue, you're just going to look at the top 4. You grab as many mono blue cards as you can and add them to your hand, because you can't add more than 6 energy. So you play this and you draw 4 cards. Then it's a 30k beat stick blocker, and it restands at the end of the turn. A couple times today, I did hit non-blue cards. I do run 3 non-blue cards in the deck, but for the most part, this is a draw 3, draw 4 every time you play it. And then it's a big, beefy blocker that can basically deal a single damage every turn. This is the way.
Yeah, and there's no tapping out because remember, we're SS3.
Yep, so you'll get the 3 energy back.
So it's super safe.
Roshi. This is mostly for green. It's kind of like the best way to actually start dealing with people, as well as it has removals. So when you play it, you bottom deck 2 battle cards. Dual crit barrier. So the barrier means that it doesn't die to Frieza, and then at the end of the turn you draw 1. So it's likely going to stick, so it's always going to at least draw you the 1 card and then restand your 3. Just kind of an alternate to Vegeta. Good card. 3 Android 18s. I saw this card a lot at 4 in people's lists. Every time I played it, it was just like pretty good. It usually wasn't. I'd rather just play a turn 6 play. So this is kind of only there to bridge the gap on those weird turn 4 and 5 energy turns, just to make sure that you're gaining some advantage. But solid card, just it's kind of necessary to bridge the gap. Best blue unison. 3 energy. At this point, you kind of got to know what this card does. You kind of need to know what this really does. It's +2, draw 1, and then -5. Your leader gets 15k and double strike, and you can activate counters from your hand without paying their energy cost by discarding 2 cards. And of course, because you're playing this, we'll see the baby ape later on, but it really just allows you to swing for game in places where you never thought you would. Specifically, since you are drawing so many cards with your leader on the backside, your Android 18s, the 2 draw apes that you run, specifically the Vegeta, this just basically always turns on your ape, and it's very good. The 3 other unison we play are 3 SS4 Son Goku. Again, can help bridge the gap from turn 4 to your 5 energy to your 6 energy plays. It stalls because of its auto, where your opponent has to bottom deck cards. It's -1. I actually didn't use the -2 very often in this today, but the -1 just to draw 2 and bottom deck 1, really good filter, lets you pitch the unisons and dead extra cards out of your hand. Yeah, just buys you turns, very good card. Make sure you own it. We're playing blue, and so we need 4 Trunks counterplays because it prevent your opponent from playing stuff. Against even like Gotenks, you can just make them spend the extra energy on Gokuls. You can just play it as a 15k body that they have to deal with if they have deflect. So it's just a good card. Needed it for 3 baby apes. Woo! This card just wins so many games, like over and over and over again. Like if you're a blue player, you probably understand how often this card just wins games. I used it to bottom deck Celzino today. I lost 8 cards in hand that turn, and I won because it was against Gotenks, where they kill their own Gotenks and then they play Celzino, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now you don't get your floating effect of picking up your pieces, and I remove your biggest threat. I draw a card. He picked the secret rare out of my hand, but it really wasn't that big of a deal because 30k triple strike is a really good way to end the game.
It's the auto that kills Xeno, right?
Yep, because so you can just play it in the counterplay window, like I did with Trunks. You could just, even though Celzino has deflect, you just go, okay, well, I'm still going to counterplay it. It doesn't get returned to the hand, but then the auto is when this card is played, draw 1, bottom deck one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. So just a nice way to prevent yourself from dying a lot of times, and then guaranteeing that 30 double goes through. This card is probably going to change soon, if not just be like a 50-50 split. Obuni is really good when it's good, but like this current meta, it's just not that great. Red. So green has immediate answer. Dormant Potential Unleash is stupid. Like as a control player, I recognize when cards are really strong, and that card is silly strong, and the fact that it removes all the tokens, since this is blue's best battle card, really puts them in a tough spot. It is good still, like it's not a bad card. Don't ever twist that because it just wins certain matchups. Black doesn't really have great answers to it. If you do it against a really fast red deck that isn't going to negate, it's really good. But it just isn't as good as it was last set. Still really powerful though. Consider Murchim in its spot. The other card, it has Barrier, which helps against green, which is generally one of blue's worst matchups. So yeah, good card. This card should be at 4. This right here is where the restand 3. It just buys you every turn over and over and over again. You restand 3 and then you negate with baby, or with baby Gohan. It really just buys turn after turn because your opponent usually isn't willing to bottom deck 1. People need to be willing to, because 1 is not the price that Topo is at 2. Likewise, on board it's only 25k one time, which is pretty relevant because it's still like a really big swing, and then you can bounce it back with the card we'll get to later. But really powerful, just helps you stall, because once you get to that turn 6 spot, then you just start drawing 4 cards a turn and buying turns. It's great. 2 Vegeta Ready to Rumble. So as a negate, this card is okay. The thing is that there are certain matchups that this card just buys you the turn guaranteed. Like Syn Shenron is an example of this, where because they have a turn 6 play, they simply will not attack. until, like, if this card gets played. They're just going to refuse, because if they get rid of their energy, then they're a full turn behind, and that's how you lose games. Really good. Just any of those situations. It's not great against everybody when they're already pushing for game. It's like a 4 energy negate 2 attacks, kind of, because it's a blocker. But it's just, when it's good, it's like the best negate in the game. Aside from Baby Hatch, of course. 3 Uneasy Alliance Son Goku. It basically grabs back Baby Gohan. It also grabs back
18.
18 and my 1 Zeno super combo, basically to help you get more plus when you weren't necessarily going to, or in Gohan's case, buy more turns that you didn't think you were going to have. So it's really powerful, but it usually is like the first card that I bottom deck at the beginning of the game, because when you draw 4 every turn, you will see Gohans, you will see other negates. So it's just there as a good option to always have available. Super combos, we have 1 Zeno and 3 Gohan Accelerated Slam. So this could be any 4 life draw 1 super combo. So Supreme Kai or North Kai, Mai, whatever you want. I just went with Gohan because it was readily available in its foil, I guess.
Why not the new rare bottom deck draw 2?
Thank you for asking, Dom.
You're welcome.
Because on occasion, your leader is going to be a dummy and flip a non-blue card into your energy. When that happens, those super combos don't work.
Oh, wow.
So if you have those, you're just going to be in a worse position. And I also think that 0-10Ks are really underappreciated in a meta where this card is running around all the time. I played it earlier today against Dark Broly, where their super combos were dead. They had 0-0 super combos. So it's been really nice to actually play a traditional super combo again after spending the last 2 sets playing with multicolor ones only. As a blue player and a little bit of yellow, Zamasu has been my home, but drawing cards has been great. Zeno, this card should probably be at 2. So as the plus, like the draw energy, it's pretty good for a turn 1 play. And then you can bounce it back on turn 2 or whatever. But specifically, it just lets you charge cards that are really specific. And then when you do occasionally flip one of those non-blue cards or your secret rare into your energy, Zeno grabs it for you. And it's so, so powerful. Honestly, that's really just it, is that occasionally you're just going to get hit by bad RNG and your leader's going to flip something you don't want, and it grabs it. Today, I used it. I almost decked out against a Hatchiyak and a friendly. I put my regular super combo into my energy, picking up a baby ape, because the counter was going to be super crucial to win. Earlier today, I grabbed a negate against Gotenks. Super powerful. This card does so well. Really should be considered at 2. I'm about to say something sacrilegious. You should always play 4 Sensu Bean. Maybe not in this deck because you tap out offensively every single turn. You restand 3 at the end of your turn, which is very true. But this card, oftentimes on my turn, I'm pushing for game or trying to apply pressure, and I just have this extra card that I can't do anything with. So I could see this at 3, maybe even 2, but it's just so good when it is good. A really common occurrence is that you're at 2 energy, right? So you go first, you charge, then you charge again, and then you're at 2 energy, and you have the baby unison in hand, you swing, you bottom, and then you pick up a life, go to 3 energy, but one of them is a rest mode. If you have a Sensu Bean, no problem. Establish your baby, start drawing cards, start building markers. Just a really good option. Yeah, good card. This is the one blue deck that probably doesn't need it at 4. 4D Magic, don't ever play anything less than that. I don't care how aggro you think your deck is. This is, I mean, other than Baby Hatch, this is certainly the best, like, standard negate in the game. It just restands energy, which is super value. Unfortunately, Bandai kind of hates blue, so we've seen what happens with the new Mai stuff. The new Mai, Borgos, Chi-Chi, Vegeta, and Gohan. Wow, I can't believe I knew all those. Restanding energy, really good. Sparking 5 is kind of hard to hit sometimes, but it's just really good. I kind of just refuse to not include one of these in every deck now if it's anything that isn't hyper aggro. Negating 2 attacks for 1 card is really powerful, and it can single-handedly win you Invoker matchups, and it's just really good. When your opponent tells you to ditch a card, it's a great target. It's just a really powerful thing. And then, unfortunately, Blues probably has the weakest effect of them all, of bouncing a 1-drop. Really should have made it a 2-drop, because even green kills a 1-drop. The 3 non-blue cards in the deck, 2 Saiyan Instincts. This could probably come out. There's just not a lot of times.
You're drawing 4.
Yeah, you draw 4.
You draw 4.
Like, there's just, again, it's in those filler turns, or like where you know you have to keep 4 energy up for Vegeta or something, a Vegeta ready to rumble. So like sometimes you want to just draw 2 rather than do anything else. Likewise, it really helps in the hand control matchups. Like I was playing against Frieza in a friendly earlier. I kept this on mulligan because I knew they would make me pitch turn 1, used it, and drew 2. It really just helps you with weird hand situations, but anytime you run a non-blue card in a deck that deals with energy like this, that's not good. Last one of Fu Shrouded in Mystery.
Dane, you can only have 1 secret rare in your deck. What are you doing?
What? You can only have 1. I refuse, so I'm going to run 2.
Oh, okay.
This has probably won more games across more decks than any other card in the game. Like, this card seriously just, it wins every single matchup. Like, when you play it, if they're not playing blue, this card actually wins you the game on the spot. There's technically occasions where you aren't, but like if you're being a good pilot, you should recognize when your opponent's resources are running out, or when they're like sitting on a bunch of negates, and you go, oh, okay, well, I just pumped my leader to 30 double. I have another 30k body with Vegeta, and they have 3 life. Let's deal the damage with Vegeta, maybe pump it to 35, deals, put a little pressure on it, make them think they have to take it, pay 6, and now they can't negate either of these big 30k doubles. Or if they can, it's like from a leader auto or something, which there's 3 in the game. So really powerful card. Make sure you're playing it at any sort of control strategy. In the sideboard, I would certainly be running 2, because matchups like Syn Shenron, this super duper wins you the game. Just really powerful. That's Super Saiyan 3 reboot. It really is pretty good. The real issue is that it's going to fold to hyper aggro. Today my matchups were Broly swap into Gotenks, into Dark Broly, into Syn Shenron. So the Broly swap, I feel like I really only won because he didn't have the promo. And if you have the promo, then we'd be making a very different video right now. This would be my Why Blue Sucks video. Gotenks was really grindy. Like I said, I bottom deck Celzino, and that's probably the only reason I won. Dark Broly, he just had really bad mills, but I think it was generally a winnable matchup with the fact that I draw so often. Install. And then Syn Shenron I beat his face in with Obuni, because Obuni's still good. I know I just trashed it a bunch, but it's still really powerful. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys. North Star Ball has been getting a little bit of content. We're a little bit behind on some of our card reviews, but we'll be coming to you with the next few days with Yellow review, Black review, and the Giant Force review. So make sure to keep in touch, and we'll talk to you soon.